In today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, we are going to break down my top 3 altcoin picks for the month of February. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. And with that, we are going to hop right in to token number 3, and that spot is going to go to Chainlink. So Chainlink has been one of the best performing top 100 coins this year so far. It's actually up about 30% over the past month, while Bitcoin and Ether are relatively flat or slightly up. And I do believe what we are seeing in Chainlink right now is very similar to what we actually saw here throughout the bear market, a period of consolidation, and then boom, a nice breakout to the upside. Chainlink does historically make pretty explosive moves when we see a pattern like this. And so far, it looks like this time is no different, as Chainlink is hitting levels that we haven't really seen on the price action, going all the way back to like early to mid 2022. And you guys may remember, if you've been with the channel for a while, that we were talking about Chainlink last summer when it was in the middle of this consolidation phase. I basically said that it was ridiculous to see Chainlink trading sideways for so long, especially with some of the big partnerships they were making. And sorry, not price range. Let me actually get the date range. And I did say that, when this breakout finally occurred, that it was going to be a big one, okay? The longer the base, the more you melt face. And this was a pretty long base, so about 525 days that Chainlink was basically just in this accumulation phase. And the pretty basic, the basic premise behind, the longer the base, the more you melt face is that, typically speaking, if a coin moves sideways like this for a year and a half, you would expect the majority of the selling pressure has been exhausted, and then down here, once all the sellers are finally exhausted, Chainlink breaks out to new highs. That's when the FOMO tends to kick in. Now, if we actually just compare this pattern right here and then just take a look at what Chainlink just did right now, okay, it does look very, very similar to what actually happened down here. Now, granted, this was nowhere near as long of a consolidation period. However, the pattern does look very similar, and it looks to me like Chainlink does want to continue on this run. So this is not really a fundamental play. This is more of like a technical play, as most of the monthly picks are, because if we're talking about fundamentals, then that's a completely different story. But when we're talking about altcoins that we're looking at on a month-to-month basis, it's sort of like a combination of fundamentals as well as technicals. And, from a technical side, it looks strong, in my opinion. From a fundamental side, Chainlink looks very strong as well. They have confirmed over the past year partnerships with Swift, and they did also, work with a dozen other banks in this partnership with Swift to connect legacy bank infrastructure to the CCIP. The CCIP being the cross-chain interoperability protocol, which basically allows you to transfer tokens between chains, build multi-chain dApps, connect permissioned and permissionless blockchains. And these are the chains it supports at the moment: ETH, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, and they've also added Solana and BNB to this list. So all the most important ones in terms of DeFi are supported by the CCIP. And yeah, so I'm bullish on Chainlink from a narrative perspective, from a fundamental perspective, as well as technically. As I said, I'm just kind of eyeing this similar move to what we saw back down here, and this could lead Chainlink on a nice rally back up to that $25 area, right around here, which would line up with some pretty big historical resistance. So that's what I am looking for when it comes to Chainlink. Now, hopping in to spot number 2. And that is going to go to Arbitrum. Now, I don't want to say this is going specifically to Arbitrum. In my last market update, I did say that I was just keeping an eye on the layer 2 space as a whole, sort of like as a beta play to ETH, okay? And we were talking about this late last year as well. Arbitrum was sitting at about 80 cents. It ran all the way up to about $2.40. Another one that does, kind of fit that layer 2 narrative is Optimism. This is one of those other layer 2s that I do watch kind of in respect to Ethereum and a beta play to that. And then we also have Manta Network, which is a recently new one, and new coins do tend to perform pretty well. So, Manta could be a pretty solid choice. I don't know why CoinMarketCap is taking 10 years. Manta could be a pretty solid choice here. It's got a market cap of about 740 mil, but this is a relatively new token, so not too much price history to go off of. And the big reason that I am kind of eyeing layer 2s, that I have been eyeing them over the past half a year more or less, is because of the EIP 4844 upgrade. Now, to my knowledge, EIP 4844 upgrade, let's say updates, I do believe this is set to launch over the next couple of months. Will it happen? Who knows? The merge was supposed to come, and that took like a year. But the point is, eventually, the Ethereum Foundation did deliver on the merge. And EIP 4844 is going to be the biggest upgrade for Ethereum since then, in my opinion. So this is going to introduce something known as proto-danksharding, meant to reduce fees and increase transaction throughput. And a simple way to understand this is that EIP 4844 bolts blobs onto blocks, and basically just enables ETH to manage the capacity for a global transaction network. They're actually talking about this upgrade helping it reach about 100,000 TPS, and that would represent a massive upgrade from the current layer 2 rollups processing about 100 TPS. And that would also be over double what Solana has at 45,000 TPS. So this upgrade would be really big for Ether. And in my opinion, once again, really validate the fact that it is still the biggest blockchain ecosystem out there. I think Ether is undervalued relative to a lot of the market. It's been an underperformer, but it did so last cycle as well. And then it caught everybody off guard, or a lot of people off guard anyways, who were sleeping on ETH. And I think this is going to be a very similar scenario. So, so this new transaction type that accepts blobs of data. Basically what blobs are, to my knowledge, is they attach to blocks, which increases the amount of data blob carrying that blocks can handle. So increased efficiency for block space basically equals faster transactions, cheaper transactions. And this is specifically towards layer 2s, right? So EIP 4844 is not actually increasing the TPS throughput on the layer 1 chain. It's doing it on the layer 2 chain. So that's why I believe this is specifically more of a layer 2 trade, right? And then you can just see right here, like Arbitrum looking pretty good. Even if it does want to come back down and retest those prior highs, which it actually did, it snapped right back above it. And then Optimism, to me, also looks like a super interesting chart. Like, to me, this chart just looks like it's been in an uptrend basically since the airdrop, right? Like, we had that initial dump, but we can basically look at Optimism, right? We got higher lows, and here we are again, higher lows. Like, this thing has basically been in a long-term uptrend, since the airdrop. So to me, this one looks a long-term bullish as well. And both of these are big blockchains in terms of the actual, total value locked. If we take a look at DeFi Llama, these both sit in the top 10. We got Ethereum in the top 10. Look at that, Manta in 14th. So, the ETH ecosystem, the layer 1 chain obviously has been dominant for a while. The layer 2s are now in there. And yeah, I do think that this is kind of like an upcoming narrative that will help push the layer 2 market higher specifically. Now, to wrap things up, I do want to get into token number 1, and this is going to be QNT. So Quant, this is, again, you guys know that I'm bullish on it from a fundamental perspective, but this trade right here is definitely a lot more technical, So I want to go to the charts real quick and basically show you what I'm looking at when it comes to Quant, because there is something, potentially pretty juicy here that I'm watching when it comes to this coin. So here we have Quant on a weekly log scale. And if we actually go to my Twitter, I want to go to my Twitter because the last time that I was, basically tweeting about Quant and covering it a lot more was basically in this range right here, okay? But when I actually saw us bounce off this 85, well, the first time really would be back here in the bear market. At that $45, $42 level, I was covering Quant a lot. We spoke about it all the way on that run from 45 up to 230, from June of 2022 to October of the same year. And then once again in October of last year, I saw it coming back down to this long-term trend line. I did say that I once again had my eyes on this project, and then boom, it ran from $85 to 150. So basically a double, right? And I just want to pull up my Twitter to show you guys that we were in fact talking about this. No, this is the videos we were making in the bear market there when it was like in the $40 range. But I do want to find my Twitter for this, so just give me a second. If you don't follow me on Twitter, please do so, because I post a lot of, some more quicker time charts over there. Yeah, so we spoke about Quant here on the actual breakout back up to 150. Somebody had commented, what are your short-term take profit zones? And we said it was at 150, right? Like, this is where the resistance was, which was pretty obvious to me. I'm not saying I always get things right, but to me, this one looked like it would be resistance going back to March of 2022, February 2023, and then December of the same year. But what I am eyeing now, okay, looking forward, is the fact that once again, I believe Quant does look like it wants to come back down to this long-term uptrending channel. And, if history does repeat itself, then this should see a pretty nice move off of this level right there, okay? So that's what I'm eyeing when it comes to Quant, is another bounce. Now, if it breaks down there, I'm probably looking back at $85, and that wouldn't be, the most bullish thing for this token. But we can basically see here that on two different occasions, this thing has come back down, seen a strong bounce at that level 2 out of 2 times, essentially, right? So the one thing here is it's kind of just a play on technicals, but definitely something I am looking at. And additionally, I do want to keep in mind that we are now once again the bull market support band. So I do think a retrace down here is most likely. But when that happens, I will kind of wait to see how it behaves there. And that's why this is on my list, okay? Not fundamental, more so technical. But if you want to look at the fundamentals of Quant, feel free to check out a lot of our videos on the channel. In my opinion, this project has some of the biggest and best partnerships and collaborations in the space, working with multiple central banks, Barclays, MasterCard, Amazon, and a whole lot more that we have covered on the channel. So feel free to check out those videos if you so please. But that is my top 3 list for the month of February. Let me know what you are taking a look at in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.